All right, so that's going to that.
To what?
All right, so YouTube is somewhat streaming.
You have a link?
Maybe. Studio.
What?
Hold on, I'm working on it. Content. Live. The real episode 1. Get shareable link. Link copied. Nope, not that one. I closed out. The one that my Facebook is attached to. Come on. We're almost there. Do 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 do. Where is your name? Jonathan Appel. Control V. All right. I just sent you the YouTube link. You just got it.
You did?
Oh, your phone just beeped. I didn't know if that was you getting the YouTube link.
That was it. Okay.
All right, let me see if I can watch it on my phone. It like flashed for a second and then it disappeared.
Yeah, I just sent it to Kristen, so maybe she can. She's in the other room watching the Phillies. Maybe she can
Let me hit open.
check it out.
Check it out. All right. Let me just make sure the most important part is since it's a podcast, we kind of want the podcast to be a podcast. How many times can I say podcast in one sentence? Podcast, podcast, podcast. Playback, recording device, line. Okay, recording. Now I'm saying something. You say something.
Something!
Wow, that was very loud. Okay, that worked. Perfect.
Hey, you got to work on the volume. You asked me to say something.
Yeah, I know. Should have been more specific without yelling.
All right, I won't yell anymore.
It's
I'm
fine.
yelling at you.
Yes. You can yell at me all you want, but don't.
All right. All right.
Oh, that's what I wanted to.
Come on, Cody Clemens. Can I say that?
Sure, I don't care.
It's a big game.
Yeah, they need this.
Nikki 3 buttons with the big hit tonight.
Okay, that's what I needed there. We don't need that tab. Oh, I needed the script. Darn it. Where's that? This.
Yeah. Are we reading the same script?
Yeah, from in the beginning. We'll start. Oh, jeez. We'll start everyone pretty much the same way. That'll be like our opening. And then we'll go into.
Oh, the whole thing. Never mind.
We'll go into some making fun of. I'll make fun of the Eagles. You make fun of the Cowboys. Blah blah blah. Whatever.
Pickle Juice. That's right.
Pickle Juice, and then we'll get into the history and how this game is about the Pickle Juice game.
Yeah, the Eagles might not play on Friday.
And how the Eagles might not play on Friday because of the weather.
The fire.
The fire.
Because of fire and guns.
Oh, guns also. That's even more exciting.
Yeah, it's just not a good environment down there.
No, not even a little bit.
It's a bad idea from like the the initial idea.
Yeah, from the initial idea. All right, let's. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's. All right, here we go. Let's try the opening here.
Excuse me.
And here we go. Hey, y'all, welcome to Your Team Sucks, the podcast, where football rivalries are at their finest and tempers are always flaring. I'm Rob, your diehard Cowboys fan, if you can see this on YouTube. And trust me, I've got a lot to say about how America's team is running this league.
That's right, and I'm Jonathan, the one and only Eagles fanatic. So to remind you that the only thing better than a win is seeing the Cowboys lose. We're here to break down the latest games, stir up some good-natured trash talk, and make sure everyone knows just how incredible the Philadelphia Eagles are.
Buckle up, because we're diving deep into the rivalries, the stats, and everything in between. Whether you're wearing silver and blue like I am, or green and white, not Kelly Green. Is Kelly Green? Hunter Green? Whatever green. Who cares?
Midnight green.
Midnight green and white. We promise you'll get an earful.
And remember, it's all in good fun. At the end of the day, we're all just fans of this crazy, amazing game. So let's get into it. This is Your Team Sucks.
Your team sucks.
Okay, not really. It's pretty cool music, Robert. Pretty cool music.
I worked real hard on this.
Oh, good. Good.
I had no idea what I was doing.
I like it.
It's from GarageBand, so I'm sure we're going to get DCMA'd somehow on that.
Oh, Jesus. Probably.
What up, Eagles suck?
What up, Dallas sucks?
Eagles suck. So this is our very first episode.
Yes, it is.
So we're going to start off right away. We're going to go out with big bangers talking about why the Eagles suck. First off, all I have to say to you is how many fingers are on your hand? 5. And how many rings do the Cowboys have?
Here we go.
5. One for each finger. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, you know what?
5 times.
You can suck on this too, Mr.
Oh, yeah, whatever. You hold up whatever you want to hold up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a lot of stuff. I got all kinds of stuff in the room. I'll just, I don't want to show it all.
Yeah, from your one, show off your one Super Bowl victory.
I got one trophy there, and you've got Stormtrooper helmets there, so that's okay.
Stormtrooper helmet.
I mean, that's what I see.
Look what I'm wearing. The Cowboys blue and white, the throwback jerseys from...
Who was 55, Randy White?
He just retired, my man. No, not Randy White. He just retired to another linebacker.
Vander something?
Leighton Vander Esch. That's right, not Vander something. Guy was
Wilder.
Beast. Van Wilder. Guy was a beast. Cowboys have had some problems recently with linebackers and getting hurt. The guy from Penn State.
Won a lot of playoff games with Vander.
Yeah.
Slider.
Vander Esch. Get it right. Vander Esch. Leighton Vander Esch. Best name in the NFL.
Not a bad name. Not a bad name.
Yeah, you know it is. It's a good name. The only name better than that would be like, I don't know, Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman. He's my boy. That guy's hands, you ever see him on TV? His hands are just enormous.
They're always like clutched, like he's going to grab something.
Yeah.
It's always like, he's talking to, who's his buddy that he works with all the time? Joe Buck.
Joe Buck.
Oh, and Joe's like.
His hand is bigger. His hand is like this, is bigger than Joe Buck. He's just like, he could just crush Joe Buck's head with his one hand. He just, but then again, you need big hands to be able to throw the football. The football is pretty big in the NFL.
Yeah, and to analyze too, with the big screen.
And to analyze, to be able to touch the screen and do all. Yeah, something tells me, I forget what it is, but something tells me he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure exactly what. I think it might have been Joe Buck that told me that every single time they're on TV together. But that's okay because the Cowboys are awesome. And it's September 1st, which means this is the time to say it. The Cowboys are winning the Super Bowl this year, 2024. The Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl.
You know what Eagle fans do every time you say, oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl? You know what we do?
You cower and cry in the corner and you go,
Space, watch Face. Just watch it.
I'm
Ready?
watching. Oh, I see it.
That face.
I see. That is the face.
Yeah.
That is the face. But this is the face this is what drives me insane the most about Eagles fans and the media in Philadelphia. Eagles win 2 games in a row. Head coach should be president. Go right past governor, go right past mayor. Head coach, president.
Yes.
Quarterback, vice president.
Yes.
Tight end, not even tight end. Free safety. He gets 2 interceptions. Boom, make him secretary of defense.
Pro Bowl.
There. Pro Bowl. He's going to the Pro Bowl right away. 1 game, 2 interceptions, Pro Bowl right away. Then the next week they lose, and guess what you guys do? Fire everybody. They all suck.
Everybody.
They all suck. Get them all out of here.
If we fired everybody when we should have last year, we might not have had the big slide we had.
That is true.
So the fans we are the most knowledgeable, passionate, and brightest fans in the NFL.
Yes, I will agree with you there. I mean, no other team 40 years later is still known for throwing snowballs at Santa Claus.
Oh my, here we go.
Even though that guy was drunk as a skunk.
And yeah, he was drunk, but you know why we were doing it?
Because
you know the story, Robert?
He was rooting for the Cowboys.
You wish. We were winning the game, and we needed to lose to get O.J. Simpson.
Oh, so you wanted to?
Yeah.
That's.
Wait. Are you talking about Santa Claus? You're talking about Jimmy Johnson?
No, Santa
We have
Claus.
a history of snowball throwing in Philly.
Oh yes. You do a very good job of throwing snowballs. That and the Phillies are known for throwing batteries.
Batteries and snowballs.
At J.D. Drew.
But if you're talking about the Jimmy Johnson snowballs, I was at that game.
You were throwing snowballs from the 700
level.
Throw
a snowball, we're never coming back. And so I didn't throw a snowball.
So you didn't throw a snowball.
They were ice balls that day.
Yeah, because they were like packed in. You kept stomping on them and cracking them down.
6 inches of ice snow in the stands because they didn't clear it out.
Nope.
That's the way the vet was. And I don't think I could have reached anyway. But it would have hit someone in the lower level.
Right.
And I ready, and my father's like,
don't do it.
If you do it. So I was like, okay. I dropped it.
I won't do it.
I let everyone else down at 200 level at the vet did.
The ones ever closer do it.
It was really fun. That was a fun day.
I
won that game, to be honest with you.
It doesn't even matter because I can tell you this much.
Someday.
Yeah, here's what I can. Yeah, we'll get there. Well, here's what I can tell you though. Head-to-head record: the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles have played 130 games since 1960.
That's a lot of games.
That is a lot of games. Among them, the Dallas Cowboys have won 74 games. The Philadelphia Eagles have only won 56. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles past head-to-head results against the spread: 83.3% against the spread, over 66.7%. In the last 5, the Cowboys have won 1, and lost 4 in the last 5 games. That's not good for me.
No, it's not good for you.
Wait, what is this?
You know what the spread? You know what that means? Nothing.
Nothing at all. Because you could win by 1 point, you could win by 30 points, and it doesn't matter. Oh, I see. The Cowboys are 1-4 against the spread.
They've all been
in
close
the last
games.
5 games. The Eagles have 2 losses and 2 wins and 3 losses against the spread when they were predicted to win. Whatever. All right.
You almost lost to Gardner Minshew last year.
We did. We did. When you guys at that point, you guys were trying to lose. I think, right? You were like, "Let's."
Yeah, I don't know what happened with us at the end. I mean,
yeah.
They as my father used to say, they were smelling themselves at 10-1.
Yeah.
Came off that big game against Buffalo, and knew we had the new word in sports when you have a tough schedule, the gauntlet.
The gauntlet. Right? They ran the gauntlet.
With San Francisco and at Seattle and Dallas, and it happens.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the fact we were losing; it's the way we're losing.
Right.
And even in the first 10 wins, there were some moments of a game against the Commanders where we should have been crushing them, and then we went to overtime. We gave up a touchdown last play of the game, and a couple other wins were like, ugh, and we lost to the Jets for the first time ever. So ever.
And I hate to tell you, the Jets weren't very good last year either.
Well, their defense was good, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about the Jets when Aaron Rodgers gets hurt in a couple of weeks.
in,
That'll be the only way we're gonna talk about the Jets. How about that?
in
If
3
Aaron
games,
Rodgers
yeah.
gets hurt again.
Yeah, it's a shame because he was their savior. They were like, whoa, and then 5 plays in, out. Speaking of 5 plays in, this week in rivalry history, so every week we're going to try and do a game if the Cowboys played the Eagles in that week. And since this is episode 1, we're getting ready for week 1 in the year 2000.
That's right.
In the year, you know that from Conan O'Brien? Do you know that skit?
No.
There's a good Conan skit in the year 2000. But in the year 2000, the Cowboys played the Eagles in week 1 at Texas Stadium, and this was the infamous Pickle Juice game.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
And the thing was, and just so everyone knows, Eagles won 41-14.
41-14, but we won't get into that, so we don't need to worry about the actual score.
But what actually happened was, we just came off a year where we had McNabb finally start.
Right.
And so we had some excitement. We didn't know what we had yet, but it was his first year as a starter and coming to the season at Dallas. And Bob, I don't know if you knew this, but it was recorded as the hottest game in the NFL history.
It was 109 degrees in Dallas that day, and they were saying on the field it was 175 degrees on the field.
Yeah, on the old turf.
On the old turf with the hole in the ceiling so God could look down on the Cowboys and just bake the turf. And it was funny, when we were doing show prep for this, I went back and I just typed in, Eagles Cowboys week 1, year 2000. And the whole game is on YouTube. Somebody broadcasted the entire game on YouTube.
Yeah, everything's on YouTube now.
Yeah, so they started talking about the Eagles and their pickle juice, and why the Eagles were drinking pickle juice. And in the beginning of the game, and I didn't watch the end of it because it got pretty ridiculous pretty fast. But in the beginning of the game, the Eagles sidelines was in the shade, and the Cowboys sidelines was in the baking hot sun.
Well, that was dumb.
Yeah, they should have switched sides. I don't know if they were legally allowed to or not, but they should have switched sides there because.
It's funny you said that because I remember it being at the vet all those years, all those games I went to. The Eagles were always on the shady side, and it wasn't coincidence.
It wasn't coincidence, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
So
they wore the white jerseys at home when it was hot.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
There's a reason for that. So as John said, the Eagles won 41-14. Here's a little bit more history about this game and the year 2000. The Eagles finished the season 11-5.
Yes,
very good record. The Cowboys finished the season 5-11.
Yes.
But the Cowboys head coach was Dave Campo. I'm pretty sure he's the coach.
Yeah, I gotta get that Price is Right.
We need that. Oh my gosh,
I'll get it for you.
I'm pretty sure he's the coach that every Cowboys fan has forgotten because I know I was like, oh my God, I forgot all about him. The Eagles were coached by none other than Andrew W. Reid. Andy Reid, a young, spry, only like 320-pound Andy Reid back then. He was looking good there. The Cowboys quarterback, Troy Aikman started the game. He threw 5 whole passes. And I watched because I was trying to figure out what happened. Did he go out in the first drive? 3 drives in, he got sacked 4 times in the first 3 drives. And by the 4th sack, he's sitting on the sidelines and they're giving him smelling salts. And they're talking about how John Madden was working the game. It was great hearing John Madden. I love John Madden was awesome. He's like, what you got to do here? See how there's a hole? Pow! You got to hit the hole, and then over here you got to turn. Pow!
You got to do more of those.
Yeah.
Frank Caliendo does it great.
He does.
Right.
So he was working the game, and apparently in Troy Aikman's career, he had 6 concussions in his career. These days, if a guy gets a second concussion, they're out. They're done. Like, they don't even mess around with concussions anymore, which we're going to talk a little bit later about the concussion protocol and helmets and all that good stuff. But even the sacks that Troy took were massive. Like, they were body slamming him into the ground. It was wow. It was crazy.
It's almost like the Eagles said, good luck with your retirement, because they bookended it, because the first game he ever played against the Eagles, they had 12 sacks in '89. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to do it again.
Do it again.
Troy's like, I've had enough of the Eagles. I'm retiring.
Yeah, it was his last season, too. 2020 or 2000 was his last season. So he did play in 11 games that season. I'm pretty sure after the concussion, he sat out 2 or 3 games and then came back a little bit later. But the quarterback who was on record for I don't know if he's on record for the loss, but the quarterback that finished the game was none other than some guy named Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, he threw a touchdown and a pick.
He did throw a touchdown. So it was pretty funny that both quarterbacks were Eagles quarterbacks playing in that game, because we all think of Randall more as the Eagles quarterback than any other team that he played for. Did he go elsewhere other than to Dallas?
Randall Cunningham, he played for Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
Well, after the Eagles, of course, he went to the Vikings and was like MVP.
Oh, right. That's right. Yes, he did do that.
Then he went to Dallas and the Ravens. And let me check if there's anything else. I think that was it. Yep, that was it. He went to Dallas and then played 1 game for the Ravens, or actually 6 games. 6 games.
6 games.
Star. Yeah.
Okay. So he played for the Cowboys, and it just was the Cowboys were. Emmitt Smith was there, but Emmitt Smith did nothing as well in that game. It was a very, very bad game for the Cowboys, and it was very.
You know how many first downs he had that game?
Not many. 10 first downs. Well, once you score 41 points, then you guys are like,
yeah. Well, we haven't talked about how the game started. Dallas won the toss.
Oh my gosh!
Elected to receive.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, and we did an onside kick, recovered it, and that was the whole season. It's basically a successful season for us and a horrible season for you.
Yeah.
And that was it.
It was crazy right away. The Cowboys were backing up and we'll have to talk about the kickoff rules also later on. But the Cowboys were backing up to catch the deep ball, and then the ball goes 11 yards, and an Eagles guy falls on it, and then they go down and score a touchdown. Then the next drive they score a field goal. Suddenly they're up 10-0. And then before you know it, they're just destroying the Cowboys, and it's all because of the Pickle Juice.
Pickle Juice.
So I did a little bit of deep dive on Pickle Juice to find out if it was actually a thing or not, and if it's better than Gatorade. So Gatorade's been around for since 1965. So why not just drink Gatorade instead of Pickle Juice? So some Pickle Juice contains probiotics, which is a source of bacteria that can help promote a healthy gut. It can help with hangovers, which I'm pretty sure all of the Cowboys had. They were favored to win that game also, by the way. They were favored to win the game. They sure were, and they did not do that. Since hangovers are often brought on by dehydration and a loss of electrolytes, pickle juice could serve as a source of sodium and potassium to help replenish lost electrolytes. It can regulate your blood sugar. It can reduce muscle cramps. Some research has shown that the benefits of pickle juice in reducing and recovering from cramps if you're mildly dehydrated. Don't count on it to boost your performance, however. Studies indicate that athletes drinking varying amounts of pickle juice before or after workouts appear to see little or no effect on their performance, core temperature, and hydration. Sports drinks might provide better support in preventing muscle cramps because they typically contain less sodium than pickle juice, plus additional electrolytes such as potassium and magnesium and a much higher content of water. So, it was like an old wives' tale. That somebody on the Eagles heard, drink some pickle juice. So they were doing that where Gatorade probably would have been better for them than pickle juice was. But it was the whole talk before the game started. They had you're busy over there. They had giant Gatorade bottles with tape on it that said pickle juice. And actually in one of the other things that I was reading, it said that you should only drink like 2 or 3 ounces of pickle juice. You shouldn't even drink that much pickle juice.
I'm sure it doesn't taste good.
Yeah, so
2 or 3 ounces will be fine.
Yeah, so here we go. So 10 reasons to drink
pickle flavored Gatorade, maybe.
That would be fun.
I like pickle chips. Pickle potato chips are great.
I love pickles. I love pickled potato chips. I love pickles. I love anything pickled on. don't really. The problem is a lot of potassium, so it's very high. Potassium, I think. Yeah. So, all right. So 10 reasons to drink pickle juice. Are you ready? 1, it soothes muscle cramps. According to healthline.com, it soothes muscle cramps. 2, it helps you stay hydrated. 3, it's a fat-free recovery aid. 4, it won't bust your budget. If you already eat pickles regularly, you don't have to spend money on sports drinks. Even if you don't eat pickles, you can still choose pickle juice as a budget-friendly alternative to more expensive workout beverages.
And you get the pickles with it.
And you get a free pickle, yeah. 5.
I like the bread and butter. I'm just.
Oh no, I'm more of
my kind of pickles.
I like dills. I like dill pickles. Yeah.
I'll take a dill, but I dip them in ketchup. I know it's weird.
Oh, that is weird. That is strange. Number 5, it contains antioxidants. Number 6, it may support your weight loss effort. Pickle juice contains a lot of vinegar.
I can use that.
Yeah, me too. Consuming a little bit of vinegar every day may help you lose weight, as reported in Bioessence, Biotechnology, and Biochemistry. After 12 weeks, study participants who had consumed either a half ounce or 1 ounce of vinegar daily had lost more weight and fat than those who hadn't consumed any vinegar. There you go. It helps control blood sugar levels, and it boosts gut health. The vinegar and pickle juice can help your belly stay healthy, too.
My gut is very healthy.
Well, this will make it even healthier. Healthy and size are 2 different things. I think they're talking about breaking food down better, not just being large like mine is.
Yeah.
And number 9, dill is... What's that?
I said, damn it, my belly.
I know.
Shouldn't have looked at it.
Dill is healthy. And number 10, it sweetens your breath. Even if it makes your lips pucker when you drink it, a little bit of pickle juice might make for sweeter breath. Bacteria in your mouth can cause bad breath. Both dill and vinegar have antibacterial properties. This potent combination may help freshen your breath after you drink pickle juice. All right.
All right.
So, there you go. 10 reasons why you should drink pickle juice.
I don't like any of those reasons.
I don't like any of those reasons.
Except that it helped us win 41-14.
That's right. That it sure did. So, it's really funny. After that, our trainer at the high school that I teach at was like, oh, the Eagles did it. We have to do it. So, for all the football games... for like the next 2 years, he had a container of pickle juice as well. One of the very hot games, he had pickle juice over there as well as Gatorade and water and stuff like that. And so it's funny. You see somebody do it, and then, of course, you got to do copycats. So
there's always copycats.
There's always
copycat league.
That's right. That's what it is. So that's our recap of the Eagles versus Cowboys in Week 1, Pickle Juice Gate week, whatever. Who cares? All right, the Eagles won, Cowboys lost, and it was 109 degrees outside.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a great day.
Yeah.
Anytime Jeremiah Trotter, Sr., scores a touchdown, it's a great day.
It's a great day for you guys, that's for sure.
Right down the sideline, never forget it.
I already forgotten it. I have forgotten it. I forgot that, and probably the next 2 weeks also. And the rest of that season, I was like, wow, this is not a good year for us.
Yeah, we were on our way to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And we beat Tampa Bay. And then we lost the divisional game to the Giants on a opening. We lost 20-10. And the Giants 2 touchdowns they scored were a opening game kickoff return by Ronnie Dixon.
Okay.
And a crappy, unbelievable play by Jason Sehorn.
Oh my goodness.
Right? Wasn't he married to Angie Harmon? Or still married to Angie Harmon?
I think so, yeah.
Right. And that's all I remember. But he made this crazy circus catch, didn't fall out of bounds, ran down the sideline. We lost 20-10. And they're the only 2 scores they had.
That's
and
so
it was very
funny.
annoying. And then Baltimore then they cheated against Minnesota for 41-0. They stole plays or something, and then Baltimore just annihilated them in the Super Bowl.
There you go.
There you go. That was all just from here, Bob.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I couldn't even tell you what happened last week, let alone in the year 2000.
Y2K.
Y2K. Oh.
Did your computer explode? Because mine did not.
No, mine did not either. I remember that was a big deal. Y2K was a great thing. I was working at like Best Buy or Silo at the time or something like that. I forget.
Silo. Oh my god.
But I was working at a store, a computer store, and I remember it was a really, really big deal because no, I was not, but maybe I don't remember, but I just remember it being a huge deal.
City?
No, I never worked at Circuit City.
Basco Best.
Best Basco. Best Basco and Silo are two old school stores that don't exist anymore.
Yeah, our youngster audience are going to be like, what
they're like, what are they? What words are they saying? They're not making any sense. All right, so for our main topic for today, after beating up on each other's teams, we got some rule changes, some safety changes, some rule changes, and some kickoff changes. So,
yeah, we do.
The kickoff, the NFL. Let's go over here.
Yeah, Bob, can you please explain this? I think I know what it is, but I know that you've done some research. So explain to the audience and refresh me of exactly how this works.
The kickoffs.
The kickoffs.
So the kickoffs. This is
now they got this from the XFL, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. They started in the XFL. So the kicker is way back where he normally kicks from, but they have all these different additional rules about where you can kick the ball, receive it, and all that good stuff. So, come on, my computer. I lost my mouse somehow. Like literally, my mouse has disappeared.
Mouse disappeared. I have to.
So let me see. NFL
mouse, man.
I know, right?
So if you have, right now, I have a mouse for my computer I'm using for this, and a mouse for my laptop in front of me, which is my work laptop, but I'm using it. So if I have two devices, do I say they're mice?
You have mice.
They're mice.
You sure do. They're Mises.
It sounds weird to say that I have mice.
If you were Tom and Jerry, you would say Mises.
It sounds more comfortable to say my mouses.
My mouses, yes.
I got two mouses here.
So, to address the lowest kickoff return rate in the NFL history during the 2023 season and unacceptable injury rate on kickoffs prior to that, NFL clubs have approved a new kickoff rule for the 2024 season to create a new form of free kick play that is designed to resemble typical scrimmage play by aligning players on both teams closer and restricting movement to reduce space and speed and to promote more returns. So, the details. The ball is kicked from the 35-yard line, same as the current rule.
Okay.
Safety kicks would be from the 20-yard line, same as the current rule.
And that's a punt or you can put it, you just can't use a T.
Right, you just can't use a T.
Right.
The alignment.
So where you can hold it and
yes.
Right. Okay.
So now, all kicking team players, other than the kicker, will line up with 1 foot on the receiving team's 40-yard line. The kicker cannot cross the 50-yard line until the ball touches the ground or player in the landing zone or the end zone. So they have a landing zone now.
And what's the landing zone? Inside the 20th to the goal line?
Yeah. So the landing zone is the area between the receiving team's goal line and its 20-yard line. The 10 kicking team players cannot move until the ball hits the ground or player in the landing zone or in the end zone. So they have to... They start at the 40. They can't see I guess they can hear the kick from behind them. And then they're all looking up, watching the ball go up and over their head. And they can't move until the guy catches it or it hits the ground. The receiving team will line up as follows. The setup zone, a 5-yard area from the 35 to the 30-yard line where at least 9 receiving team members must line up. At least 7 players with foot on the 35-yard line with alignment requirements outside numbers to hash, and inside hashes. So 7 of them have to be in specific areas on the field.
Wow.
Players, players not on the restraining line must be lined up in the setup zone outside the hash marks. All players in the setup zone cannot move until the kick has hit the ground or a player in the landing zone or the end zone. A maximum of 2 returners may line up in the landing zone and can move at any time prior or during the kick. The landing zone is the area between the goal line and the 20-yard line. And this is where it gets really fun. Any kick that hits short of the landing zone, treated like a kickoff out of bounds, and the ball will be spotted at the 40-yard line. Play would be blown dead as soon as the kick lands short of the landing zone. So if you don't kick it to the 20-yard line, automatically they get it at the 40. Any kick that hits in the landing zone must be returned, so there's no more fair catches. Any kick that hits in the landing zone and then goes into the end zone must be returned or downed by the receiving team. If downed, the touchback to the 20-yard line. So if it bounces into the end zone, they can down it and they'll get the ball at the 20.
Okay.
If the kick hits in the end zone, stays in bounds, returned or downed, if downed, then the touchback to the 30-yard line. So if you kick it too far and into the end zone, because last year all the kickers were kicking it through the uprights. They were kicking it so far.
Right.
So now if you kick it into the end zone and they down it, they get the ball at the 30. Any kick that goes out of the back of the end zone in the air or bounces is a touchback to the 30 as well.
Wow.
So if you kick it too far, the ball goes to the 30. If you kick it too short or out of bounds, the ball goes to the 40. So you have to get it in that 20 yards of the landing zone.
So you're talking about we need a finesse kickoff guy.
Yes, no longer just the all power, just let me kick it as hard as I can.
It sounds like that at some point with these new rules, they almost have to add another player to the active roster, because of the special. It seems like a specialized position is starting to grow.
Kind of like the punter, like you have a punter, and because this is, I guess because he's kicking off a tee, they're just going to use him as the same guy as the field goal kicker.
Yeah, but remember back in the day, some teams carried, they would. I mean, they might not carry an extra guy for it, but they would have a kicker for field goals, and they would have a kicker to kick off because they kick further.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
so
yeah.
now I feel like they might actually have a specialized guy, like for accuracy.
The most accurate kicker. Yeah.
To dump it like like punt. Like you said, like punters do.
Yeah.
They try to angle it. They try to pin them down, and that's what they're going to do. Or maybe they'll just get rid of the tee, and you can just punt it in there
and punt it right from the
a better idea down the road. I don't know. This is all I didn't really know much till you just said it. I knew kind of how it worked.
Right. Yeah.
But now about it, it's a very specialized thing. And I like it because it's forcing the guys to return kicks, which is in sports, Bob, like we're losing things. We're losing pitch outs.
Yeah.
We're losing.
We're losing
we're losing all these things.
Yeah.
Losing a 2-point shot in basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sick of losing things, and the NFL. That's a good idea to bring back the kickoff return.
Yeah, I think
it's great. Look, guys are gonna get concussions no matter what.
Right, and have you watched any of the preseason games? Have you seen any of the kickoffs at all?
Nothing.
Okay, so
I know I'm doing a football podcast, but I haven't watched any football yet.
Look,
not until Friday night if we play.
Right, so preseason games are hard to watch as it is because it's all the young guys and or old guys that aren't going to, the starters never play. This is one of my soapbox complaints in a couple minutes is about, how useless or how unentertaining, I guess, the preseason games are becoming because you want to see your superstars. You want to see Dak Prescott. You want to see Jalen Hurts. And then they go out there, they have their pads on. Like I was even just watching Hard Knocks. And episode 1, he's out there, he's like throwing the ball around before the game, and the two coaches are talking, and the other coach is like, are you playing him? He's like, no, he's not playing today. And it's a rookie. Like, it's Chicago Bears. Have a rookie quarterback. You want to try and get him as much experience at this level with this speed as you can. But when you only have 3 preseason games, you won't need to see what do they carry in preseason? 70 guys, 100 guys to start with, and then they have to cut it down to 52. So they need to see of those other 40 people who's gonna do well or who's not gonna do well. So they can't really keep keep the starters playing longer than they need to. They get them in maybe a quarter in Game 2, and then Game 3 they're not playing them again because the following week is when the season starts, and they don't want them getting hurt before the season starts. So it is a little silly at this point. But I did watch it, and let me tell you, you're going to see a lot of hard hits. Like, you can tell this is an XFL rule because the guy catching the ball can't fair catch it, so he has to run it out. So he's going to be running full speed, and you don't need 60 yards to get up to full speed. You need 3-5 yards. That's it to get to full speed. So the kicking team, in the first 5 yards, they're going full speed also. So these collisions are happening, but they're happening between the 20 and the 30. The guys just aren't running the whole time the ball's in the air. So it cuts out on the kicking team and even the receiving team having to run 40 yards downfield before setting up. They're setting up within a 20-yard distance or 15, 25-yard distance, but they're still running as fast, and making the guys have to run it out is going to be interesting. But like you said, it is going to make for the kickers to be a lot more accurate. So in practice during the week, instead of just trying to kick it as hard as they possibly can, now they have to really aim it and work on getting it into that 20-yard area. So that will be a little bit more finesse. It will be interesting to see how many teams change kickers because their kicker can't get it into that 20-yard area. And it's funny, like, I always think it's so funny. The kicker has the most thankless job in the NFL. You know, like, you sit on the sideline the whole time. Everybody forgets all about you. You're expected to get the extra point. You're expected to do the kickoff. But then with 5 seconds left in the game, they're going to put you in to kick a 56-yard field goal to win the game when you're down by 1. And if you don't make it, you're the reason the team lost. And all the fans hate you and whatever. So it is adding a little bit more pressure to the most thankless position in the NFL. So that will be fun for that.
They're getting paid.
They're getting paid. That's right. All right, so that's the kickoff rule. There's a couple other new rules we can talk about. Where did that go? Oh, the Guardian helmet. Let's talk about the Guardian helmet first. The NFL is now allowing the Guardian caps to be worn during regular season games. Did you hear about this?
Yes. Yeah, it's going to look stupid, but it's fine if they want to cut down on concussions.
Right. I mean, that's what it's just going to be. They're going to look like giant bobbleheads.
Well,
but
I mean, if all these guys get concussions, there won't be a league. So
yeah, exactly. So
how many did you see any in the preseason?
I was looking, and the Pittsburgh Steelers had 2 or 3 guys that were wearing them during the preseason game. The NFL has adjusted the rules to allow the Guardian caps headgear. Miller said we have 2 years of data showing significant concussion reduction amongst the players who wear the Guardian caps. So in the game, like if you look at them in practice, it's just all the padding is inside out, sticking outside the helmet now. But in the games, they put like a little, almost like a swimmer's cap type thing over top of it. So that it still has the helmet. It just looks like a really big, fuzzy hat. So the first guy to wear one, this is for your trivia, James Daniels, Steelers offensive guard, was the first player to wear a Guardian cap during the Steelers-Texans game on Friday night. So he's officially the first person to wear a Guardian cap in a game. This Sunday, there were 5 Colts players wearing Guardian caps in their game, including running backs Jonathan Taylor and Xavier Scott, tight end Kylan Grayson, safety rookie Thomas II, and linebacker Grant Stewart. Player safety is our priority at Guardian Sports, and it's encouraging to see NFL players recognize this mission. This made me think of, I don't know, do you watch NASCAR at all? Do you watch car racing, any type of car racing?
Very, very little.
Okay, so you heard of a guy named Dale Earnhardt, right? You know that guy? Even though you don't watch that much race cars, you've heard of him, right?
The guy that died February 18th, 2001, that guy?
That guy, yes. So you've heard of him. He was not wearing what was called the Hans device, Hans. It's a kind of like shoulder pad bracket thing that goes over your shoulders, had two bars that go up the back of your neck, and then it straps onto the helmet. And what it basically does is, with it going over your shoulders, it prevents your head from moving around a lot. You can move it to look and see and do all that stuff, but in a severe crash, it wouldn't allow for the whiplash and for all the what would cause a concussion and whiplash and all that stuff. And so they had that when Dale Earnhardt died, but he wasn't wearing one. And everybody that year, they were like, oh, you should try this. And all the drivers were like, oh, it's a good idea, but not for me. Every driver said, it's not for me. It's not for me. And then Dale Earnhardt crashed into the wall, and they said that he died from a broken neck because his head was snapped so hard that if he was wearing this device, he would still be alive, and he wouldn't have died from that broken neck. Now it's mandatory. So it took somebody, unfortunately, really popular to die from a neck injury for them to say, okay, all you guys that said this head device isn't for me, now you have to wear it. And I have a feeling in a couple of years from now, we're all going to be wearing the Guardian caps. Maybe they won't be as puffy, but maybe they'll discover that, just a certain extra layer of padding on the outside of the helmets helps prevent, and they don't have to be as big as they are now. But I have a feeling that you're going to see, kind of like in baseball, the batters' helmets that now have the protection going down around the jaw. And even in the NHL, the face shields that are now mandated. If you were grandfathered into not having to wear one if you were in the league before X year, whatever it was. So some guy named Wayne Gretzky, I don't know who he was, but he never wore one. I don't. Was he good? Did anybody know if he's good or not? He's okay? All right. But, yeah, so, like, if you were grandfathered in, you didn't have to wear it, but now everybody has to wear one. So it's all safety. I mean, look, we like watching these sports. We like watching these guys do these things. And it's really tough when they get hurt. My guy that I'm wearing right now is out because of a neck injury that he had to retire from because it hurt. He wasn't able to heal, and if he got hit again, it would be very, very bad for him. So, yeah. So I don't know. So what do you think? Other than the helmets looking silly, do you have any other point of view on these big puffy helmets?
It looks silly.
It looks silly.
I think at some point in our life, maybe when we're 90,
No.
you won't be able to sack a quarterback. You won't be able to touch them. They'll be
Right.
wearing red. They'll be wearing red jerseys, red helmets, or something where you can't touch them. It's going to happen.
Do you know how in fencing they have like in some of the sports
the electronic things?
Yeah, the electronic sensors on their uniforms. They're going to have that eventually for the quarterbacks. If you just like flag football for the quarterbacks, if you touch them without sacking him, if a buzzer goes off, play stops of some sort.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There's some other rule changes by Detroit amend Rule 15, Section 1, Article 1 to protect the club's ability to challenge a third ruling following one successful challenge. So they now made it if you get one successful, you get to challenge a third time. Amends Rule 14, Section 5, Article 2 to allow for an enforcement of a major foul by the offense prior to a change of possession in a situation where there are fouls by both teams. I don't even know what that means. Amends Rule 15, Section 3, Article 3 to include a ruling of a passer down by contact or out of bounds before throwing a pass as a reviewable play. So if they don't like it, they can have it reviewed and see if he was actually down or not. Rule 15, Section 3, Article 9 to allow a replay review when there is a clear and obvious visual evidence that the game clock expired before any snap. So you're allowed to replay review if you are sure that it went to 0. They were talked about that. I remember watching a game where they were talking about it. And like it's the umpire or the ref, one of the refs, I don't remember which position ref has to look at the clock and then blow the whistle, but he has to look at the clock and then look at the quarterback and then look back at the clock again. So it's tough for him to look at two places at once. So I understand why sometimes they miss it. But now you'll be able to review it. To eliminate potentially dangerous tackling technique. What tackling was that? The hip drop tackle. So you're not allowed to do a hip drop tackle. A hip drop tackle, easy for you to say, occurs when a defender wraps up a ball carrier and rotates or swivels his hips, unweighing himself and dropping onto the ball carrier's legs during the tackle. A hip drop tackle will result in a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down if the player uses the following technique to bring a runner to the ground. Grabs the runner with both hands or wraps the runner with both arms, unweighs himself by swiveling and dropping his hips and or lowering his body, landing on and trapping the runner's legs at or below the knees. So I'm wondering if the big thing is just them landing on the runner's legs, if that's what they're going to be looking at. I don't know
how they're going to, yeah.
So
players still going to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they're going to complain about it when they get called on it. And for 1 year only, create a new form of a free kick play that is designed to resemble a typical scrimmage play by aligning players on both teams close together. So this is by competition committee. This is 1 year only that they're doing this new kickoff thing. So we'll see if that sticks around or not.
Right.
All right. You wanted to talk about because this is a big deal for the Eagles this week. The games in foreign countries.
Yeah. The Eagles have a game on Friday scheduled in Brazil.
And
from the beginning, it was kind of exciting and strange at the same time. We all knew how dangerous it was to go to Brazil. And that before we get into why it might be canceled Friday, I mean, there was already talk of them being in armed vehicles and being scared to go. And, you know, it just wasn't the best environment. And then the whole thing with the jersey colors, because where they're playing, there's a soccer stadium, and that team, the home team that plays there, the rivals wear green, and they hate them. They'll kill them. And, you know, so the NFL says, hey, let's go.
Send two teams wearing green.
Well, and if one of them can't go, we'll send the Jets. You know, it's kind of what they came up with. And, you know, they should have nixed it right then and there.
Right.
They did. So the Eagles, you know, said, all right, fine. We're going to wear our black helmets with our white jerseys and black pants. And I don't know if the numbers they're going to put on or green or black, but Eagles are staying away from black. And the Packers are still going to wear their regular green and gold. You know, we'll see what happens. Now they're like, oh, it's going to be fine. But then all of a sudden, wildfires start. I don't know how it started. Probably some who knows?
Well, anyway. Smokey the Bear says only you can prevent forest fires.
Yeah. We remember last year. I mean, they come down from Canada and all that. It was nuts. Like,
it was nuts.
I was to a Phillies game and I couldn't go because the skies were orange and didn't make any sense. And felt like the world was going to end. So I guess they're having the same problems down there. And they said this time down there, the air is toxic. Like, literally, you can die from it.
That's not good.
So they'll make a decision the next 24 to 48 hours because, you know, you got to fly down to, I'm sorry, I'm watching the Phillies. They're trying to win this game here. All right. It's extra innings, Bob.
Okay.
You know, we got to, like, tell the Phillies to not have a game during our podcast.
I know, right? Tell them Sunday night games are not good for us. You got to have your Phillies games on Sunday afternoons.
Come on.
Always Sunday afternoons. No ESPN games for us.
Trey Turner's going to win it here, I hope. Anyway, so yeah. So it was just a bad idea altogether. And the only thing, you know, they have these games in London. They have them in Germany. They're talking about, you know, I'm surprised they haven't had them in Japan, but they're going to do Australia soon. I'm not here. And it's because, you know, Jordan Mailata is a superstar. And some other, they've had other guys, mostly punters and all that. But now they're scouting the rugby players, and it's becoming, they're having the NFL camps down there and all these things
and
going on.
The NFL has not a draft, but they have players that won't affect their 52-man roster if they get them from foreign countries to, like, try and teach them how to play the game and see if they make it or not. So they have all kinds of fun rules about having players from other countries to try and make it a world sport.
Right, and that's great that they're trying to make it global, like the NBA's, trying to make things global, and all the sport and baseball. Look at the Phillies played in London. That's great.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But let's be honest, they don't need to do it.
No, they don't need to do it.
It comes down to that. Like, it's just a money grab, and they have so much money anyway. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, and
I'm
they're
trying
just.
I'm trying to understand why they're doing it. And if there's any concerns, whether it's the violence down there or now the fires, like, just cancel it.
Yeah.
Just forget it.
Yeah.
Just end it. And I hope they don't play Friday. It took away a home game for the Eagles. Now, this is a year where we had 9 home games because, they have the extra game. And next year, they're going to have 2 probably.
Right.
It's going to be 9 and 9. But still, I'm a season ticket holder, and I took a game away.
Yeah.
A good game, Green Bay.
Against Green Bay. Yeah. A game against Green Bay. Great.
And I don't want any of the games taken away. So that's. Sorry, Bob. Very distracted here.
John gets
very race, man. September.
I understand. No, I understand.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it's just they didn't put very much. They're just thinking about money.
They are. They're thinking about how. And I mean, I don't know. The stadium, I'm sure, holds 100 and something thousand people. So they're like, look, we can get more seats than we could in Philadelphia stadium of 70,000. So they're getting 30 more thousand plus people.
Actually, this one only holds 50.
Oh, really? It's even a smaller stadium. So they're losing money.
I don't know. They're getting. You mean maybe tickets, but they. Remember, like, these players, the NFL, all the sports, except hockey. Okay, hockey depends on ticket sales.
Right.
The other 3 sports,
they get all their money.
They don't need people to show up.
Yeah, they get their money from
Did you see Steph Curry's 1-year extension the other day?
No.
1 year.
1 year.
1 year. How much? Take a guess.
75 million.
63.
63. I was close.
But I know what you're thinking. Like,
yeah.
Think about that. Think about it. Just think about it. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, 63 million for 1 year. It's
1
ridiculous.
Year.
1 year.
And Jason Tatum got I saw his 5-year extension was for $314 million. And in my head, I'm like, wait a second. Let me do the math.
Yeah.
62 million a year. What? Like, so it's all TV money. It's all advertising money.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like,
and I get it for them. It's all about, I'm better than the last guy, so I need to get more money. CeeDee Lamb, we talked about it during the trailer. CeeDee Lamb got his big signing extension for 3 years. So the next wide receiver is going to get more than that for 4 years, or even for 3 years, get more than that. And it's always going up and up and up because the guy's got to get, I'm the best one, so I need the most money. It doesn't matter what it is. So the money is just ridiculously inflated at just out of control at this point.
Yeah.
So that's what's ridiculous. But
sorry. Pop up.
There you go.
An NFL pop-up.
There you go. They'd heard us talking about the NFL. So
and you know what it says? It says to address the lowest kickoff return rate in NFL history during the 23 season and an unacceptable injury rate on kickoffs prior to the NFL club. No, it's about the kickoff rules. How about that?
There you go. Look at that. Just like we were just talking about. Pretty crazy.
How about that? Yeah. Computers, they're listening.
They're listening.
Someone's listening.
Someone is listening.
So as far as international games,
So how many
international? They're not going to go anywhere, but no. I think they.
Yeah, they need to think about where they're going and making sure that it's a safe country to go to. And it's known Brazil is not safe.
Right.
And
the other thing is, I don't understand if a team's going anywhere, London, Germany. Now I think they're going to Spain this year, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So wherever, right? Those 2 teams should have a bye week the week after. No matter what. Yeah. No matter the way they make the schedule, they can do whatever they want. And teams don't share stadiums anymore.
No.
Right?
No.
There's no more. They're all done. Since the Raiders moved to Las Vegas, that's it. There's no more shared stadiums.
Yep.
Like when we were growing up. So there's no issue. And they should all just have bye weeks.
LA is the only shared stadium, the Rams and the Chargers.
No, I'm sorry. I meant shared with the Giants and Jets.
Oh, with baseball.
Team.
Okay, right.
Well,
yes.
You don't see the infield dirt on this field.
Right. Like in Oakland.
San Diego, Oakland, the main one, right? Or San Diego, but they all had it back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, but we played on turf.
Yep.
So, but you saw the cutouts,
Yep.
and then of course guys would bust their knees and sue the city and all that stuff.
Yep.
So, but now everyone's got their own stadium, and there's no reason in the world why they can't. And it's amazing when the COVID season happened. Hell, they could just schedule whatever they needed to do.
Whenever they needed. Yeah, they 20 guys were sick. We'll play it on Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I think one was on a Wednesday.
One was on a Wednesday.
Wednesday afternoon at like 1 o'clock. I was like, so, and I didn't do fantasy that year, so I was like, thank God. A lot of my friends.
Yeah. Oh my God, the schedule.
I'm like, how's it going? They're like, it sucks.
It
like,
sucks.
Games like at 2 a.m. and
yeah,
on a Thursday, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was ridiculous because you were like, I think I'm winning, but I still have this one guy that I have to wait until Wednesday to see if he's going to do anything.
Right. Come on, Nicky Castellanos. All right.
Anyway. So anyway, I was going to get into what do we think of our week 1 matchups, but don't even know where the Eagles are going to be playing at this point in time. Right. And the Cowboys are not predicted to win because they're going to Cleveland, and the Browns were only lost like 1 game at home last season, and the Cowboys were 4-5 away last season. So we're not even going to talk about that. Because
Phillies won. Just give you a heads up.
Phillies won? Good. Excellent. That is very, very good news. Because we need to beat the Braves to keep them at bay and stay hopefully figuring out what the heck happened to us, because first half of the year we were unstoppable and then we couldn't do anything.
Sorry.
So, no, I was just going to say we could do talking about the week 1 matchups, but we'll see next Sunday if we had week 1 matchups that are worth talking about. The Eagles are supposed to play on Friday night. And also the other thing with all the games in all these foreign countries, it's time zone differences. Like Australia would be ridiculous. It would be a whole day ahead of time, and it would just be really, really a mess. I know when they play in London, I watch a lot of Formula One, and Formula One, the race takes place like 3-4 o'clock their time. It's always taking place at 8-9 o'clock in the morning here on the East Coast. So London game, if you're a 49ers fan and living in San Francisco, and the 49ers are playing in London, then your game is on at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, what time?
Yeah, if you're a real fan, you stay up for it.
Yeah, it'd probably be like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Or you DVR it.
Or you DVR it, and then you watch it when you wake up if you want to. So I don't know, but yeah. So whatever. I mean, it is crazy, and I don't think. But I mean, soccer's doing the same thing. How many soccer games have come and played here in America, whether they're friendlies or whatever? But they do. It's becoming a world where all of our sports are moving all over the place and letting everybody see the sport firsthand. Because I guess there's enough NFL fans in Brazil or in London or Germany. You know what's funny? When you see the game in Germany, it's like it'll be Cowboys versus the Browns, but it's in Germany. In the stands, you see all these other football jerseys. You'll see Vikings jerseys. You'll see Eagles jerseys. You'll see, because they're all like football fans, but they only get to see one football game. So they're going to go see that one football game, even though that's not their team. They're a fan of the 49ers, but they're going to go watch the Cowboys-Browns game because it's the only one that's actually coming to Germany. So it's interesting. What do you think if there was briefly talks of who are they going to send to London? They were going to make an expansion team or send one of the teams to London.
No, it was Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, yeah. They were going to send them to London.
The Manu.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah, there's talk of that, but I think it'll be an expansion team at some point. I don't think anyone's going to move there.
Okay.
They'll put a team there, and they're doing this because they want to put a team in. They really want to put a team in Mexico City, and that's rumored for baseball and basketball too.
Right.
So, look, if they're going to do it, just start doing it. But the other problem is that country is another country is just dangerous to go to.
Yeah.
And if I was that pro athlete, and I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like it's not like playing in Toronto or
right.
Calgary or Edmonton. Like as a hockey player, like you're fine. You're actually
Yeah.
safer. But
yeah.
Going to Mexico, like I
and like they know how much money you have, so everybody's going to be looking for you. It's not like you can't go out anywhere if you're a football player. You can't go enjoy the town because people are going to be like hunting you down and trying to, kidnap you or ransom you or whatever the deal is. So, yeah, I don't know.
Put a team in London, put one in St. Louis again. Believe it or not, they just had bad ownership, and just call it a day. Seriously, that's the two cities I'd pick. I don't know where else I'd put an NFL team. I mean,
and honestly, like people,
where else would you put one? They're everywhere,
right? Yeah,
they're everywhere now.
People
they're really spread out well.
People I know from like East Coast say it's easier to fly to London or faster, maybe the same amount of time, I guess, as it is to go to California. So you could play a lot of the East Coast teams against a London team and not have any problems with it whatsoever. And there are a lot of East Coast teams. So whatever. They could be like the next NFC East. And when they realign, there was a map that was if the teams were actually aligned according to where they actually live. Like Dallas would be playing against the Texans and I think maybe Arizona or something like that. And the Eagles division would be pretty close to what it is now. It would be like Eagles, Washington, Giants, and Baltimore, the Jets, one of those two. So,
right.
yeah.
I've seen that.
So,
yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it makes more sense now than it ever did. I remember back in the day when the Atlanta Falcons were in the NFC West and the Arizona Cardinals moved to Arizona, and they're like, oh, we'll just put them in the East. Like,
what?
The Falcons are in the West and the Cardinals in the East. Like, what?
What? Yeah. At college.
They finally woke up one day like, oh, shoot, it's wrong.
They're like, this is really, really, this is a lot of travel. College.
I remember Seattle was in the AFC.
Yeah.
But originally in the NFC.
Originally, yes.
Originally. But then they went to AFC like 79 and yeah, I still feel like the Seahawks are an AFC team. I don't know. It's going to be a long time for me to, it's like the Milwaukee Brewers American League team. Like
Milwaukee Brewers
National League team. Like
those whatever.
Yeah.
They and especially now that the rules are all identical to both leagues, so it doesn't even matter if you're AL or NL or which NFL, NFC, and AFC, whatever. So, all right. Well, I think we've covered a lot tonight. What do you think?
I think we did, and I just want to say one thing. As a passionate sports fan and hockey fan, especially hockey, as you know, this Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau thing absolutely devastated me. I couldn't sleep when I got a text around 11:30 from my friend in Florida. Heard something's going on, and I saw the report on the news. The two bicyclists were killed, and all this, and I'm like, can't be them, right? And I didn't know Matthew was a player too, but I knew Johnny very, I didn't know personally, but as a hockey fan, he's a local kid, and I sprang from the sign with the Flyers a couple years ago. It just didn't work out, and he wanted to, but I knew he was such a great player, great guy, big fan, and I actually teared up when they announced that it was him, and I just can't understand that people are so irresponsible and so stupid that they still do these things and get drunk and drive.
Right, and with so many options out there to not have to do that, like Ubers, whatever, taxis. There's so many other ways to get home. You don't need to do that. So it's such a shame.
To go nowhere and just literally tore up lives of two families, like multiple families, like, including his own, and I'll never wrap my head around this. I am still I can't stop thinking about it. It's been 3 days, and I just, and him, like I said, being a local kid and a huge Eagles fan.
Yeah.
So Jalen Hurts made a tweet, and the Flyers made this whole thing, and I'm sure the Phillies did something at the game, and it's just bad for sports. It was the big story on World News tonight. I mean, it's just like makes me sick, and I just wish people, and if anyone is watching, I doubt it, but at some point, just don't be stupid.
Yeah,
I just can't understand. I can't understand it.
Yeah, it's such, and the saddest part is this is brought to light because of who these kids were that were unfortunately hit by the drunk driver. But it happens too much.
Yeah.
It happens way too much.
Yeah, and you said it like this. There's never been a time where there's been more options
Uh-huh.
to make a phone call.
Yeah.
And now you don't have to call. You just text.
You can use your phone. Yeah.
You type it in. We were in Vegas. I didn't drive for a week.
Yeah.
Like you just hit the boop and they come. Like I don't get it.
No, I don't get it either.
And there's got to be stricter laws there. I mean, obviously with bars and all this. Like, I mean, I know you could get drunk at home and do it, but whatever. But they got to cut it down somewhere. And
yeah.
Sorry to get a little.
No, yeah, because it's
know,
horrible when somebody has their life taken from them by stupidity, and it's even more horrible when it's somebody who's a role model to so many people. So it's such a shame because both these lives were such young lives that were taken from us.
They did everything right.
Yeah. They weren't. They just wanted to go for a bike ride. They were both home, and they just wanted to ride bikes together as brothers again. And
yeah,
it's horrible. It's horrible. So
on that note,
well, thanks for bringing the show down on that note, there, John. But on that note, I guess we will end it. And please, if you are drinking, don't drive. And if you're driving, don't drink. And if you're drinking and you drove there, get an Uber, get a cab, do anything. Call me. I'll pick you up. I don't care.
Bob. Yeah, call Bob.
Yeah, I'll pick you up.
I remember I was the Juber. So I've done plenty of my ride shares. 1,200 rides I did for people. I've done my part.
That's
but
really funny.
I would do it again for someone. Bob, I would pick you up if you need a ride.
So, but on that note, this is our first episode, and I just want to let everybody know that, John, your team sucks.
Yeah, Bob, your team sucks too.
See you next week.
Take care.
All right, now let's see if I can get my mouse back. My mouse is here
now. Still working on your mouse?
It was going away and then coming back and then going away. I need to go down to OBS now. Now it pops back on.
Do you use a wireless mouse?
Yeah, I think it's because of the OBS software. I clicked something that said